Alright, what's up, guys? I am live streaming with Voultar. What's up, dude?
Hola.
Hola. Um, I am going to just take a minute here to make sure my SNES is all in order, but we are going to be doing comparison testing of different SNES stuff. So, one question I definitely have for you is when we're doing the one chip O3, how do we handle? How is the best way to handle sync on when you're bypassing to its own board? Do you do something like do you do something like just run it right from the sRGB chip with the resistor? Like, do you just go right from the sRGB to it? Because the one chip O3 doesn't have sync connected.
Well, the thing about the one chip O3 is that yes, it doesn't have that buffer there to put that sits between the encoder and the multi-out. So you can either repopulate that just a couple of missing components there on the board,
Mm-hmm.
or you can direct connect it. But if you direct connect it, it's important that in your cable or somewhere in the line that there is at least a resistor on there to current limit the thing, so that if you were to direct connect the sync line to your multi-out and you were to plug it to some kind of weird high impedance device,
Mm-hmm.
it would sync a lot. It could sync a lot of current. It could pull that encoder down, and it might not operate properly. So at minimum, direct connect with the series resistor in there somewhere, just to current limit the damn thing.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Well, we might or might not end up doing that depending on our results. I think I'm actually not 100% sure until we open it up, but I think the first nest we have is actually a one chip O1. So let me take a look at that right now, actually. You want to grab the chat up too, just to see who wants to jump in on this. Ah, you're already on it. Thank you, Zach.
Oh no, Bob. Thank you.
Let me grab some ammo. No, it's not a beer. It's actually just a Pepsi. I wonder if I can't. I wonder if I can't dump the. Well, let me put the picture in the chat for now. So here's what we're gonna start with, I guess. So this is a stock one chip. All right, so that's a stock one chip with, I believe, no mods at all done to it. And I'm just gonna pop this sucker open and verify it, and then start the first bypass. So I'll just leave that picture up for people that want to take a look, and I'll just take the case off because nothing impressive about that.
Hey, Bob, just to clarify, Nick said that you posted the wrong YouTube link. That you posted the CRT recording.
No, it takes a while to update.
It takes a while to update, Nick. Jesus. Stop trying to get in on our chats that don't involve you. God damn it.
You know, I bought one of those Black & Decker screwdrivers that, the power ones for like $20.
Oh yeah.
And one of my old coworkers was like, I hate that thing. It dies all the time. I'm like, dude, I've had it for 3 months and it's been perfect. What are you talking about? Yeah, it lasted about 3 or 4 months and now the battery dies. Pretty much, I charge it for a couple hours. I'm able to take a SNES apart and then the battery's dead by the end of it.
Yeah, I use a drill. I use an $18 just cheapo Walmart drill to drive all that stuff. Screws for everything. The battery lasts for like 2 weeks.
Well, doing it by hand then.
I'll send you one.
I have the actual screwdriver bit at home, but I prefer using the little hand ones because you don't over tighten that way. There's no way to screw that up too badly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, you guys, just to clarify, when you reassemble these systems, you only want it finger tight. You just want to finger it tight. You don't want to over torque those bolts or those screws in those plastic bosses. So just be very gentle. Renee and Nick, it's not the wrong link. You're the wrong men for the job. That's the problem.
Oh, interesting. So this is a one-chip O2. So those pictures that we just showed, those look pretty clear, right?
Yeah.
Most people, including myself, have had bad experiences with one-chip O2s.
Well, I think what it's going to be, Bob, is it's something you're not going to notice unless you have a direct. Maybe it's something that you might not notice unless you have a direct side-by-side comparison.
I think I would notice just because this is such a huge part of my testing, but your average person probably wouldn't, and I wouldn't have 5 years ago. It's only after staring these things in all my tests for all these years that I really get an eye for it.
Bob, we have several people in the chat commenting saying that your microphone is too hot.
Ooh.
Like Darth Vader on steroids.
The microphone. Where else would I put it then?
Maybe up your ass.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Maybe it. Can you turn the gain down on it at all?
I could. It's probably because it's attached to the box that I was using. Because remember, I have to stand. I can't sit down.
That's better. That's better, Bob. Whatever you did.
Let me move this around.
Yeah, whatever you're doing, I can already tell the difference from the internet noises.
Okay. Alright, a little better, guys? Let me know. I'll continue to disassemble and let me know if it makes a difference.
It's certainly it's still a little hot, but it's much better. I think this is tolerable for the years of children.
Yeah, I had my setup all perfect, and now that I have to switch to makeshift standing desks everywhere, everything had to be moved up 2 feet. So.
So this is a one-chip O2.
Yes, sir.
Now, again, to clarify, for the European systems only, are there any sort of cosmetical cues as to what the system is? So if you have a European system, you can take the expansion plate off the bottom and you can look at the connector, and that connector around it, there are some landmarks that will that suggest that it's more than likely a one chip. Is that correct, Bob?
Yes. So as always, you can never be 100% sure unless you take the thing apart. Because I've seen case swaps. I've seen them come, like at the end of a cycle. So you get you get the last revision of the old board. So you really have to make sure that you open it up. But yeah, there are certain clues to make sure that to give you a better chance. So in the U.S., you got to look for UN3 something serial numbers, and I have it up on the site. For PAL consoles, there is another thing to look for.
Okay.
All right. Now I just realized that. Yeah, I'll use that tip. I know you don't like to use the thinner tips in most of these, but I think there's 1 or 2 things I'll need to do where it'll be a help. Unfortunately, there's also 1 or 2 things where it won't be a help, but we'll go from there, I guess.
Your screwdriver's louder than Voultar. It's all right, man.
Wait, hold on.
They're still saying that you're blowing out the sound. Like you're 2.5 times louder than me.
All right. Well, how about this? Say something, Zach, at the same time as me.
Hello, everybody. I like to
Hello,
sit here with
everybody.
Bob and touch myself to pictures of me in the years gone by. And
All right, see how that one is then.
I use a very fat. Yeah, good. No, his wife likes the thinner tip.
We good, you think?
Bob overdid it on the talk.
I'm talking now.
Okay, he's talking now. Bob did it. Oh, Bob overdid it on the quiet side.
Okay, so let me turn myself back up a little bit.
Yeah, turn yourself up.
And then I turned you up as well, so hopefully you should be nice and loud so everybody could hear you.
So I like to use I use a really fat bladed tip for everything, and people always comment on my videos. How can you use such a huge tip? Well, it's all about the technique, and contrary to what you may have seen on the internet, size doesn't matter.
So this is the size tip that I plan on using, and the specific reason is at one point we have to lift a pin. But I will, before I do that, I want to show you how I used to do it, and let me know if there's a better way, because I actually suspect there might be a better way. But I guess, so let's start out by doing this bypass with your 7374 board. So I have that. Here we go. Voultar certified THS 7374 enhanced board.
That's
So,
not the knockoff, is it?
no, I don't buy
Okay.
knockoffs.
Cool.
So then we would have to remove a bunch of these resistors to sever the signal to it. So I'm going to go to a handy website called RetroRGB.com. Yeah, I actually do reference my own website. So here's where that flat tip would really, really, really have come in handy, is I could have just laid it across the whole resistor and touched it once. Whereas this one, you actually have to, I would have to heat up. You know what? I should probably add solder to the resistor before trying this, right?
Yep. Yeah. Load your tip up with. Well, what you want to do, Bob? There's actually a much better technique than that. Dispense some solder in your hand. And apply heat to one end of one of the resistors there. Introduce the solder, and then move it in a sawing motion back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and there she comes, just like that.
All right, so let me. Wow, yeah, that's real easy. Any trick to getting them to unstick from your pliers?
Yeah, you submerge your pliers into the your Vaseline reservoirs.
Oh, Nick used all mine.
Oh, I know. I know he did.
Yeah, I just grab it and pull it off. Burns a little, but fuck it. All right, so that looks like all of these resistors are nice and clean, or where they were is nice and clean. I'm going to be thorough just because since we're doing a comparison test here, I don't want even the slightest margin for error, other than the fact that I'm the one doing it. So, there we go. Do you use flux all the time when you use desoldering braid?
It depends. If I have a soldering braid that it's laced with a nice potent flux, I typically don't do it. But if I'm working with something that's particularly sensitive, I'll apply flux as an additional catalyst to
Gotcha.
wick away.
Well, I'm sure it's delayed, so you're probably just seeing it now. But let me know if you think the method I just did is good practice.
It just came through, and that's perfectly fine. I don't think that's super necessary. Excuse me. I don't think that's super necessary as long as you just clear those areas when you lift them off. That's perfectly fine. Not a single problem with doing that.
Cool. Okay, now I'm also removing C-Sync because I'm using your board for C-Sync as well. Okay. So now I'm just going to add your favorite ribbon wire here.
Good, good. I'm glad to see more people adopting my methods here. It's always good to see people improving their bodies.
All right, so.
Yep. Go ahead, Bob. You can do this.
There are a few people that are asking questions that I always forget to talk about because after I learn these new methods, they're just kind of like second nature. And you taught me a lot of it, but so you know, always trim the length of your wires before using the stripper.
Yes, you always do manscaping before you get the stripper out.
Okay, here we go. That was very quick and easy. I am going to use it's probably off camera because I have to. So I'm gonna dangle this off the side of the box so it's not on everything, and then add some flux and then solder it.
Yep.
And I'm dangling it just because if it hits the floor a little bit, you know, who cares? A little bit of flux on the floor, better than anything else.
Right. Right.
Okay. Okay, now we have some nicely tinned wires with flux on them. So I just gotta trim the edges off, separate them a bit again. Do you know of a good way that I could store files real time so anybody who's watching live can see them?
Where you could store files in real. Well, the only solution that I can think of for that, Bob, is if you do quick uploads and you share those links to the stream on the chat stream.
Yeah, that might work. All right. Well, let's maybe I'll do like a mega upload or something, or I don't.
Yeah, or I prefer Imgur or Imgur.
Okay, maybe I could send you these files, and then you could stick them on there. And I'll finish with this.
Okay.
Okay, so.
All right. So you just want me to share these, Bob, on the internet?
If you wouldn't mind, yes.
All right, everybody, get ready. Get ready, everybody.
So I am just inserting these into those vias. And unlike the N64, there's nothing on the other side of these, so I'm not worrying if they're a bit long. I still wouldn't call these long, but it's not like before. It's not like, because if you do that on the N64, you'll actually come out the other side and short it to the chip with the same signals. So, yeah, very bad.
And you know, just a quick tip for that, Bob, for the people who might be new to that. A good way to gauge if the length of your wire is too long is to take the wire after you strip it and hold it right to the edge, one of the edge sides of the PCB.
Yeah,
And if you hold it flush, and the wires extend considerably beyond the thickness of the PCB, you know that it's just too long. So, Bob, you sent me these two pictures here.
Yep, that is this unit, completely stock with no mods done to it. And as soon as I'm done with this, we're going to do the screen caps of it with your 7374, and then shit's going to get weird.
Yeah, shit's going to get everybody. Shit's going to get weird. So awesome.
So this is, in my opinion, the only downside of using those. The only downside of using the ribbon cables is trying to work with all three at the same time can be a bit more challenging than if I just use one at a time. But those freaking Kynar wires I can't stand. Those used to break on me all the time, even after a really good mod. Even after something I took my time, there was no tension on the wires. Like, I was really proud of it, and I come back 3 weeks later, and there's no blue on the screen, and it's because the Kynar wire broke off.
I'm having a problem with these pictures. The pictures are fine, but when I upload them with Imgur, they're solid white. I don't understand it.
Convert it
So-
to PNG, maybe?
I'm going to have to try to convert the file formats. I don't know what's going on. Not a big deal, people. Not a big deal. Yeah, it's a bitmap. Let's just upgrade. Let's just do a PNG. Okay, these are coming, guys. If you catch my drift.
So I'm not sure if anybody just caught that, but I just pulled on the middle wire, and it moved. So I just had to resolder it. So that is certainly, you want to take your pliers and a gentle tug on each. Gentle tug. You don't want to rip the thing off the pad. And then finally, just into R9 for C-Sync. Okay.
Okay, guys. I think I've got this.
So Zach, about how long do you think it's safe to run a SNES without the heat sink on? Would you say 2 or 3 minutes max?
I would say that if you reference the datasheet for the 7805 being used, you might get 35 seconds to maybe a minute and a half before it reaches its thermal limit and shuts itself down. Maybe a minute and a half.
Okay, I will be very conscious of that when I take these screenshots in a moment. Then.
All right, let me get these. Let me get these up for everybody. All right.
Okay, solid. Now let me just get that up on the other side. Now for your board, not all boards, but just your boards. You don't have to worry about isolating the bottom, correct?
No, you don't have to worry about any of that.
Okay. Now, oh, see, I don't know if anybody can see this. I just put Voultar's board on, and it's pushing down on something. So,
yeah, typical.
That's it. Okay. Now, we need to remove this next. So obviously, I need to solder RGB and sync, but I'm going to use as little amount of solder as possible.
Bob, I hate to interrupt, but because I'm not an admin on your chat, I can't post links in this damn thing.
Could you just send it to me?
Well, you have the pictures. Oh, wait. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. All right. So I just took RGB in sync, ground, and 5 volts, and nothing else. That's all we need is the bare minimum, correct?
That's correct. You need a good ground, a voltage supply, and your video stuffs.
Green, blue. So your boards kind of would go like that. I'm gonna leave excess slack. It's gonna be a little messier than it normally would be because this one is coming right out. But I still want to do a decent job because I don't want it to affect the quality. I don't think it would anyway, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah. You're in good shape with that.
All right. Same thing. I'm going to dangle the wire over so I don't get flux all over everything. Laughing at me or laughing at the chat?
No, I was just laughing at the chat. These guys are funny. Got some good stuff.
I'm I'm sure. I'm almost sad I can't read some of it. Okay. I don't know if that was caught on camera, but when I tinned the wires, two of them were soldered together, and all I did was just swipe my soldering gun across it, and it cleared it right off. All right, so and your board already came pre-tinned. Blue. And here we go. So I'm going to give that a second so the stream could catch up and you could take a look, but let me know if you think that I can't, other than the fact that, it's a huge circle when it's normally flat, I don't see anything wrong with that. It all
Looks fine.
pretty good.
Totally reasonable. That's better than anything you'll find on eBay.
All right, so let me. Actually, I have my one chip O2 ready to go. Not expecting this one. Let me put that away. So non-conductive surface. Just gonna kind of stick this on. Yeah. Don't forget the cartridge thing.
Oh yeah.
Or the controller, not cartridge. Alright. Odd, I'm not really getting a picture.
Let me see it.
It could very, very well be just that I used so little solder on the
I can't be there for you today, Bob.
Oh yeah, that's right. I put the thing up. Fucking moron. Sorry. There we go. It's gotta be that I didn't use enough. I was just trying to be sparing, knowing that we were gonna have to get the sucker out soon. So let me just add more.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not getting any sync, you're not getting any composite sync. So it's your composite sync line.
Right.
Oh, wait, you're not using. You're using. Is my board attenuating composite sync?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
All right. So the last two are left and right. So I think I got the 5-volt one correctly. Let me just try again. And I could hold on to that 7805. It's cold to the touch, so I'm not wearing that thing down.
Sean 360 3614. I only do Ultra HDMI installs if somebody screws up the install and they need it recovered. I don't offer that typically as a service, but if you really want me to do it, you can contact me. I believe I did make a YouTube video on the install process, so there you have it. Now look, Bob, you did it like a man. Take it easy, SJWs. Women can do it just as well.
All right.
Looks excellent.
I'm just labeling the file, and it also gives a time for the 7805 to cool down.
Okay. Do you want to send it to me and have me upload it to Imgur and then shoot you the link so you can put it in chat?
Already did.
Okay.
Oh, I just did the same one twice. I'm sorry. Let me just give that chip 1 second to cool. I don't want to go crazy with that thing.
I'm sorry. Did you say you sent me the pictures already?
Skype. Yeah, it's probably just.
I got it.
Now.
Okay, I got it. No problem.
You know, I sold a whole bunch of stuff on eBay just to try to get some funds together, and I have lost more on that than I've made. I just had somebody put a return request because they didn't like a Game Boy Pocket they bought from me. And they even said in the return request, you know, they don't, there's nothing wrong with it. They just, it wasn't what they expected.
Oh,
You know,
fuck them.
Yeah, I'm declining that shit.
Yeah, I don't, that's why I don't sell on eBay anymore, man. So many,
No
so
more
much
eBay
fuckery.
and no more international shipping. I sold something to a dude in England. Not his fault at all, but I just ended up getting completely screwed.
Bob, people in chat are saying that the audio on my side is, I mean, I'm just using my headset. I've not changed anything, but it's really echoey and it's all screwed up. Sorry for all the technical troubles, people. I blame Bob wholeheartedly.
Agreed. Let me add a noise gate.
We are doing this on the fly, people. We are doing this on the fly. Did it do it again? Bob, don't. That fucking did it again.
What did it again?
Don't disregard the link I just sent you.
Oh, okay.
I'll get it right here.
So I'm zooming in on these images now, and while I'll say that the bypassed one is definitely better, I mean there's no doubt. It's only something I can see when I'm zoomed in. But to be perfectly honest with you, like I've seen other one chips that are way worse than this, and I think that's probably the one I'll end up doing next just to show everybody. But yeah, you could definitely see if you zoom into Link's face and you just look at things like each individual color, like if you look at the shield, where on the bypassed one you could actually see different levels of the white, whereas it's all just kind of in there on the stock one. But like I said, I mean this is not the usual scenario, so.
Bob, would you like me to edit these up so that they're side by side, or is that too much work?
If you feel like it, but not, you know, I'll have all this stuff. I'll have all this stuff up for people to download afterwards.
I think I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. I think the Mario, because the Mario picture has such vivid color, I think that's a good. I think it's one to do.
posted 2 links that were both the same. I'm sorry. Here's the newer one. Okay. So interesting. I'm wondering if we put this on hold. So what are your thoughts on this? This is the highest quality one chip I've seen in a very long time. Do we leave this one as is, and then move on to the one chip 01 that I know for a fact was having issues, or do I continue with this one?
I think it's really a case by case basis, and personally, I don't think that is an accurate reflection of what the norm is.
Yeah,
So I think I would move on to the one chip the other rev for sure.
Yeah, so at the very least, I'm going to take the one chip 01 that I have and take stock pictures of that. And then, as long as this is the one that I'm thinking it is, then maybe we proceed with that one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if this piece of crap charged yet. Yay, power screwdrivers. Okay. Put that over here so I don't mistake which one's which. Son of a bitch. This one's also a one chip 02. Alright, well, let me take screenshots anyway just to see what it's like.
Okay, I'm going to send you a link, Bob, to a comparison between the attenuated and the overblown.
Okay.
So people can have a direct, comparable reference. Sending that right now.
Okay. Ooh, the colors are immediately noticeable.
Yeah. Super difference.
I'll tell you, that open source scan converter and the data path capture card has completely changed the whole game for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I used to sit there the same way I took those pictures last time, with the camera, the DSLR. That's how I used to do my comparisons, and it would take hours.
Right.
Alright, so let me just zoom in on this one and see how it compares to the other real quick. No, right. It'll take a second, but I will absolutely find the one that was giving me shit this whole time. Let me leave a little note that this is a one chip 02 so I don't screw that up again. Chip 02. Now what when I put these back in, I do use the electric screwdriver for most of it, and then I hand tighten at the end. I don't know about you.
I do it a little differently just because I've done them. I've done, probably 1,000 of those.
It's definitely about 100 for me now, at least.
Well, it's muscle memory for me, so I know just when to stop.
This one's complete with one of those back cracks to it. I don't know why do those plastics always crack on the SNESs like that?
It's just, I think, the polymer they used back in the 1990s. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's really important to take note of it. It's not anecdotal. It's just a fact. It's not all the time, but if you use the S-RGB encoder, there is a possibility that you will be witness to vertical banding in the output with the encoder. Not exactly sure as of yet. It's just a characteristic of something that's being pulled and sinking down.
I just realized I'm opening up all these and have serial numbers and which one's a one chip, and I think Firebrand X is on. So
God bless America. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm back. So, but one of the with any bypass, anytime you bypass that encoder, from all the data that I've extrapolated, the vertical bars and the big center bar in the middle, that goes away if you bypass. It might not be a problem for you, so if you want to try the 3-wire thing first, and if that works great for you, that's perfect.
All right.
I don't know if Bob is actually listening to anything.
I listened to every word you said, and I agree. All of my findings match that. And for years, I was telling people why I thought you should bypass, and no one believed me until we proved it out. It took a while, but we proved it.
Right.
Alright. Here's another one. I'm just going to keep doing Zelda shots until I get the one that's bad, and then pull that one up. And it should only take like a minute or two each tops.
AW Zimmer, my beard is coming back. Thank you.
Hopefully Nick's is too. That was a little weird.
Yeah, Nick, I don't appreciate that, Bandcamp look anymore.
You know what, Zach? Let me send you this one and see what you think about it. And while I'm trying the other one. You don't have to.
Let me ask you something. Have you tested and seen bad one chips with the video chain that you are particularly using at this moment?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
No, that's a good question. Very good question, but yeah, absolutely.
Was cleaning something up? Okay.
As I'm sending these to you, would you cut out just link and stick them in like a Microsoft Paint bitmap so that as I send you these, we could figure out which one is the worst of the three?
Okay. You got it, Bob.
Thank you.
Yeah, you don't want me to mark them. You just want me to blow them up, and
You don't even have to blow them up. Just open them in Paint so it doesn't mess with the resolution or anything. Cut out just link and stick all of these next to each other. Second one's coming to you right now. And then we'll just pick whichever one seems to be the worst. And then I'll open them up later on and figure out which has which inside to it.
okay, I've got the second one in.
All right, I figured out which was the one chip 03 because I'm not getting any signal with the C-Sync cable. Let me. Where's my pad? 3.
Man, it's interesting. You know, I've looked at these. You know, when I did all this stuff a long time ago with the boards, I scrutinized and looked at everything. But looking at these pictures, it's just, Jesus, it's just so blown out. Just the stock one chip. You don't think it's one of those things that, yeah, you notice it, but you really don't notice it until you look at it proper.
Yeah.
Next to something, it's a huge, huge, huge difference.
And just to let you know, I think one of these has the brightness attenuating resistors in it. I just can't remember which is which. So we'll hit one of those eventually.
So the pictures you've sent me so far, are any of these of the bypass board? With the bypass board?
No, they're all either stock or stock with the attenuating resistors in, but nothing else.
Okay, so the one you sent me, the second one you sent me is clearly being attenuated.
Okay. Ooh, that one isn't. Third one coming through now.
Oh no, not at all. Those whites are like 270, 270, 270. That's good. This is a great example too, because this is going to show something else that I'm really going to enjoy talking about.
So here's a fun one for you. I have a 2-chip here that I just plugged in just to give everybody an idea of the difference, just because it only took another minute, and it won't boot to Zelda. When I'll walk everybody through what's happening. Let me just try it with Super Mario World just to.
That's definitely a 2-chip. That's on the screen right now.
Yeah, so let me, now that we know it works, I got Mario booted. My Zelda cart looks crystal clear, but you know what? A little bit of isopropyl on a Q-tip wouldn't, certainly not going to hurt anything. Let me try that just to make sure. But I would have loved to have done this test with a 2-chip as well, just to give a comparison. And it wouldn't boot. Alright, so anybody who's watching, this is not me messing with it. You see the Zelda title coming up right about now. And I'll be patient. I know I was clicking through pretty quickly last time. Okay, so we got the title screen. Start from Bob's house. And nothing. So...
Bob, have you even beaten this game?
Oh god, I love this game. Alright, so the 2-chip, fuck the 2-chip. So which one of those 3 other ones that I had sent over do you think is the worst?
Would you like me to share this in chat so everyone can see them too?
Give me your opinion first, but yeah, if you have it, maybe we can vote on it. And I'll enjoy a pretzel while we discuss.
Which one do I think is the worst? Well, I would say, for sure, to be perfectly honest with you, I think the people need to be polled on this.
Alright.
Because I don't know if my eyesight is good today. I'm going to send these to you, Bob, and I would like to talk about something for just about 2 minutes after everybody looked. I want everyone to look at this, because I think this is really important. So, oh wait, no, not that, Bob. I need to upload it to Imgur. Don't worry about it. Okay. Here you go, Bobby. That's not what I'm looking for. It's quick and dirty, but it gets the job did.
Yeah, that's flawless. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Alright, put it in the chat.
Okay, I want to give everyone just an opportunity to look at this picture. We have a comparison here of 3 different 1-chip models. Now, as you look at this, it's very clear that the middle link sprite is considerably darker. That's because that system is obviously being attenuated. The video is being attenuated to pull it down. Now, if you look at the 2 if you look at the 2 links on the edges here, if you look at the brown brick background, you can notice some serious color differences here. The reason for this is because the ASIC on the 1-chip does have a considerable voltage swing. It is not very consistent and stateful. So your mileage will vary by up to 150 millivolts in terms of the difference between what one system may output and what another system may output. So when I designed the board, I did maybe 25 or 30 of these SNESs, cumulative, of capturing values of how hot the video is coming out, and I just did an averaging so I could meet a good middle ground, so I could accommodate all of these different things. And when people ask me about things like, well, what about current limiting the DAC? I'm afraid that if you current limit the DAC, that's just going to have an even bigger effect on the swing. So I don't know if it would be great if that worked well, but I don't know what the repercussions would be for that across all of these different systems with very wild outputs, with a very wild and wide swing. So But I just wanted to explain that not every system outputs the same amplitude in terms of its analog video. And this is a perfect representation of that, because if you look at the two outside pictures here, they're very different. Like, look at the pink especially. On the right, on the picture of Link on the right, look how much hotter that is.
Yeah, I'm thinking the one on the right is the most blurry.
I think you're right. Well, I don't know, Bob. I don't know. See, I thought the one on the left was the one in the center looks the sharpest to me for
And
sure.
that's because it's got the brightness attenuating resistors in them. So.
Yeah, this is a tough.
You're right. You know, if you I'm gonna center my big fucking head into the shield and see. You know what? You're right. I think the first one might be blurriest.
Well, the problem with brightness is when you have something that's really hot like that is you confuse brightness with sharpness, because brightness in effect has a visual influence on how sharp things are, right? So I don't know. Let the people decide, or you can decide, Bob. I don't want to call this.
I'm thinking it's the one on the left, but you guys call it on the chat. What do you think? I know Firebrand X is on here. He's one of the few people on the planet that's as obsessive as we are with this shit, so maybe he'll chime in.
Yeah, FBX, get on here and tell us the goods. I agree with Q46. I think the right picture, even though it's, saturated to hell, I think it's the most blurry. But I don't want to make that call.
I just closed the window and then came back to it, and I think you're right. If you look at the black lines around his hat, I think it's the left. Maniacs, Socratic? No, you click on the link.
It's okay, man. I do that stuff too.
I know, I do it all the time. Alright, I'm going in for number one. And notice these have that lovely yellowing just on the controller connectors.
And so yeah, that's right.
Hey Ash, you're in the UK, right?
Bob, are you making a fucking smoothie?
Is that a fat joke? You know, for anybody that's trying to do those vegetable smoothies, luckily somebody warned me beforehand, so I didn't freak out. But apparently, if you have beets in your smoothies, you poop red.
No kidding.
Yeah, and luckily, because there's no secret that I enjoy a drink now and then. So I would have been terrified. I'd have been like, "That's it. I killed my liver. I finally drank my liver out." But no. Hey Ash, I gotta IM you later then. I think I might need a UK related favor. I'll owe you one, I promise.
Right. Just to clarify something in the chat, this is a perfect testament to the theory that the DAC on the ASIC has it's got a wide output swing. So, you saw there are a couple of posts there on a few forums where they have some scope plots, but that's for one particular system. You need to sample you need to have a pretty deep sampling of about several systems, so you can really extrapolate the data to have a good metric here. So, amplitude isn't the same from system to system. So you've got to find a middle ground so you can accommodate lows and highs and let them all meet in the middle.
Oh, you know what? Let me I just realized. So I took that's a 1-chip-01 stock. I took the Zelda picture, but let me take the Mario picture before we start fucking with this.
Okay.
Sorry, I like to be diligent with my notes because if you don't, by the time you're done with this shit, you end up with 100 files and you can't remember which is which and why you did it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you on that one, my friend.
One little thing to mention: if anybody's using the same data path vision card that that I use, it's absolutely awesome. My only complaint is every single time you load up the app, you have to set it to the full color range, or else it always defaults to compressed color, and you get artifacts in 240p images.
Right.
It's not that big a deal, but you have to remember, or it's just pain in the balls.
Hey, Bob, I have a question for you. You've done extensive study. Have you, the ghosting that people refer to as ghosting on these SNES 1 chips, you've seen that pretty liberally on the Framemeisters, right?
Yes, and I've been trying to trace down what's the actual cause. A bunch of people, a student in Canada that let me use a couple of his consoles to test this out on. Everybody who had complained about it doesn't have that issue with a properly attenuated 7374 board.
And I want to do a video, I think, to maybe discuss that a little further. But the ringing, the saturation, the shimmering effect, the sort of folding over of things. I think that's a combination of improper amplitude and the shitty DAC on the Framemeister. I don't see. I've seen a lot of Framemeister captures and a lot of other cheaper scalar captures that have that noise. I see OSSC captures into things. God, it looks emulated. It's like emulator quality.
Yeah, it's very impressive. The more I mess with it, the least I like, or the less I liked the Framemeister. The only two things that it has going for it is the number one most important thing is that it works on every TV. I don't think I've ever encountered a scenario where it wouldn't work on your TV. And I'm not saying it because he's on the chat. I'm saying it because I mean it. But the Firebrand X profiles, because you don't have to mess with anything. All you need to be is just the slightest, most tiniest bit tech savvy, enough to put some profiles on an SD card and then mess with the Framemeister's odd handling of SD cards. And that's it. You can get an excellent image. But other than those two things, literally everything else I prefer about the OSSC. And I'm so freaking excited that Firebrand X got one because I can't wait to see what he finds on it.
But you know what it's like? It's like on the Framemeister when people have that problem. It's the same thing as turning the AD level down in the menu settings. It serves the same purpose, right? So, anyways, I'm really interested in seeing the Bob your beautiful hands at work.
What I lose? Oh, just the. I hate these little things. The little screws, the metal screw attachments that go into the bottom of them. I guess they were there for when the SNES CD was eventually released, which didn't happen. Before I forget, let me get the other serial number for Firebrand X. Probably should have just called that out over chat, but fuck it. There you go, dude. Another one for you.
I know in Mark and Corey's video, they did some quick comparisons of one chips for the SNES, and boy, they really had to blow everyone.
Yeah. You know,
Sure
the other
got
thing
plans on that
too,
system.
we're not working on factory consoles here. We're working on 25, 30-year-old consoles. So, you know, I'm wondering if one of theirs has a bad cap in it, which is much less likely than a Genesis with bad caps. It's still plausible, you know?
Right, for sure.
All right, we got this baby naked. And although I didn't mention it last time, and I probably should, I always just do a quick visual inspection of these caps. And I've never really found any major issues. Once I think I found that one leak out. That was pretty much it. So, all right, one chip 01. Now it's time for the weird shit. I love this stuff. This is Voultar's SNES RGB expansion board, but made for a one chip. So it's only a 3 resistor difference. This one, Ben from iFix Retro ordered these from OSH Park, and Ben built them for me. So if they don't work, I'm coming for you, Ben. No, I'm kidding. Okay, but
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, that was it. So, how do you think we should? What do you think is step one? Lifting the pins on the sRGB?
If you're that concerned about that, you can, I guess, lift the input pins on the encoder or remove the next component in the circuit path between the two.
Okay, so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I don't know. I'm not sure what that was. So let me tone this out. You don't happen to have a one chip in front of you with the multimeter, do you?
I can get one if you really need one in your life.
I don't think so. I think
I've got one right here over in the garage. I can pull the motherboard out.
I could test this myself. I just let me just have you double check for me here while I'm doing it. So.
Hold on a second, Bob. I can't do this. I can't do this I can't work under these
I
conditions.
can't do this.
Jesus Christ. Of Latter-day Saints. Okay. Okay, is there one chip?
All right. Well, I found the vias for those. Those are just right here. It's right above C53. There's a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vias in a row, and the top one is red. And you know, I believe.
Yeah, let me take a look, Bob. Don't need you fucking things up live.
See, that's how you know Zach's actually a friend and not just somebody that likes to laugh at people, because he would have totally just gone, nah, Bob, see what happens. I've actually lifted the pins on a bunch of these before, and I've always had great success, to be honest with you.
Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, but you know, for the uninitiative, that might be that might not be ideal. So I think you know, if you're used to doing that, great. But it's much easier just to pull them out of circuit by removing a couple cap or whatever's in there. So let's just take a look. And this is a one chip 02 for the camera. One chip 02. This is a little test board I have. Not that anybody can see what I'm doing, but let me take the heatsink off so I can get access to the encoder and the ASIC. Oh, Bobby.
And yeah, you tone the same thing out and see if those same six vias or do the same shit for you.
Okay, so it's R8, R7, R6 on the bottom. That's where you grab between the ASIC and the encoder. Now, if you want to take these out of circuit, Bob, what you can do, you'll
Wait a
see
minute. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh, wait, we're doing an well, hold
Yeah,
on, Bob.
we're going right from the pins on the S-RGB board. So pin 24 is red, and pin 24 pins out to this one.
Okay, if you're doing that, why don't you just pull the termination components? Why don't you pull like R17, R15, and R16?
I absolutely could. Where are those? Because well, the reason is, here's my theory. I always thought that the interference on the one chips, that the reason the one chips and the minis look different is because of noise on the board of the one chips. Because remember, these were just designed to work. No one in the early '90s would have the equipment and wherewithal to test like this stuff.
Okay, Bob, you want me to tell you a secret?
Yeah.
Let me tell you a secret about being. Hold on, let me make sure this is accurate. Bob, I'm going to hold this up.
Okay.
If you let me pull up the
Because you're right,
Skype so I
pin
can
17 does directly go right out of the that same pin 28 or whatever it is, the red off of pin 24, the red off the S-RGB.
I'm saying. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do for you, Bob. If you look right, hold on, let me get the. Sometimes I still have to look at the pinout for these things. If it was in a better spot on the. Okay. So, yep, those are the outputs. Okay, so here's the deal. You have, I don't know how well this is going to show up, but let me get a screwdriver here. You have the encoder
Right there. Yeah.
right here. Okay? Here are your outputs. You see these vias next to the pins?
Yes.
Okay, these are the outputs. Now,
That's
if you
exactly
turn this,
what I was explaining before. Those 6 in a row down on the other side, right above. Where is that? C53.
so if you look on the bottom here, is that where it's at? Yeah. Is that where it's at? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let me just make sure this. Yeah, Bob. I think just remove the next component in the path there. I just wanted to double check this for you so you didn't get owned in the flames. But let me buzz these.
Because it looks like that via right above C53 for red, for example, goes to the resistor on R17. But isn't there a chance that just the path it takes from that via to R17 will pick up noise on the board?
You know, I mean, I don't really think you're going to have any coupling there. I don't think it's worth going to the trouble lifting those pins up. I really don't.
Okay.
I really don't, because if you had noise there in the first place, the routing of this thing never changed between 01 and 03, as far as I'm aware, and I've looked at a lot of these. So the only thing that's, I mean, if it looks sharp stock, it's just blown out of all the hell. More than likely, it has nothing to do with routing, but it has to do with maybe wear on components or the components being used.
All right.
So
I have an idea. Why don't we start with remove the resistors and take screenshots? And
Sure.
then we see what happens there, and if it doesn't get if it looks about the same, just properly attenuated, then we'll lift the pins. So now
That's
we have
right,
a really thorough examination. So if you still have that board out, can you just tone out where the sync pin goes to, or should I just leave sync alone for this test? Just be, that probably wouldn't add too much interference, right?
No. Sync's fine, Bob. Composite sync is perfectly fine.
Well, I mean, as long as the cable's fine. Leon did discover that thing that I verified with your board the other day.
I don't think that's a discovery that has any effect on the actual mod in the system. I think that's a result of some sort of quirk in the OSSC, and I don't know. I think more research needs to be. I think that needs to be more thoroughly evaluated before we say that that's a result of sync amplitude.
And the other side of that too is, as long as you're using good cables, you'd notice it. And if it was happening on this, we would notice it unmodified.
That's true.
Okay, good job. All right, 3 clean pads. Do I have to remove anything on your board if I'm not connecting sync through this?
No, you don't have to do anything.
Okay. And I also don't even really have to worry about anything other than red, green, and blue because we're not really touching anything else.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Well, you do need ground. You do need ground there.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that both grounds are nice and solid. Okay. So I'm gonna take the red, green, and blue off of this. Spin it around to that. All right. This is definitely a Voultar mod if I've ever seen one. You ever have that happen to the wires where they just pull out like that?
Oh yeah. That's why I do very slow pulls when I grip that stripper, so that it takes the jacketing, but it doesn't take all the wire. Yeah.
Love it with a slow hand.
Yep. Slow hand, Bob. Get used to it.
Yeah. I was. You know what? Fuck it. I was just gonna say this is weird because when you bypass a Genesis to itself, you could see on the board why that helps because the board's not really run properly. You have all the coupling and everything. Whereas this one, all the components that we removed, I mean, this is right next to the multi. I would be shocked if this made any difference at all other than attenuation.
The one-chip boards are routed pretty damn well. The CPU, what is it called? What is that shitty rev called? The final 2-chip rev before the one chip. The SNES the APU-01 is a piece of shit. I did a lot of signal analysis on that. A guy sent me one thinking he had a one chip, by just looking at the serial number, and it was actually a APU-01, the final 2 PPU, and the subcarrier from the PPU-2. The way it's routed couples into all kinds of stuff, and it's a very nasty output. But I fixed it up for him.
You fixed it up for him? How?
Well, Bob, I have my ways. Looks very good now. Looks extremely good. I'm going to do a whole video on that soon. I don't want to get into it because I can't explain it in a 5-second soundbite.
Yeah, and I want more video. I want more views on your video. So fuck that. Wait, don't mention it at all.
Yeah, I don't want you to get all. Yeah, because you're still in the show here.
Okay, soldered it right to those pads there. Looks out of focus, but decent enough. So fold that over like that, right?
Yep.
My gut's telling me that this is not going to make the slightest bit of a difference. But my gut also told me that Genesis 3s didn't output RGB. So.
Yep. Well, thank you, Steve, for your insight. I didn't believe it either. I had to go crank one open.
Okay.
And you know something, Bob, that I've noticed with some consistency over the past month or 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
People still send me links to eBay mods all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I have seen a progressive change where a lot of these mods are now they've stopped using like 30 AUG Kynar wire and they're using ribbon cable. And you know what? Some of these are looking a lot better.
Yeah, man, I really hope there were so many people that were massively offended by the fact that we openly picked on people that did shit work. But you know what? It really worked for everybody at the end of the day.
Yes, it did. I think it was effective.
So these three wires would just go to R6, 7, and 8 in any order because that's just attenuating the signal on the input side, right?
That's correct.
Okay. That one. Man, I'm excited to see what this thing looks like. Like a nerd on birthday morning.
Yes, it's a very exciting time, Bob. I'm over here thrilled.
Yeah, you sound dick.
It is exciting. It's fun. Well, it's not so much fun for me. I mean, it is fun for me, but I do this shit all the time. So the fun can only last for so long for me, you see.
All right. Separate these. Do those fancy Twitch streamers, don't they put music on when they do stuff like this?
They're supposed to. You need to get some 8-bit remixes here.
You could pump them through your Skype if you want.
No, that's okay, Bob. I'd rather listen to the sound of silence. I can play guitar in the background.
Fuck it, go for it.
No, it's not tuned. I want to sound good. I want to sound like a real man. Not that there's anything wrong if you're not a real man. God, don't... Please, I don't want any more letters. You guys take shit way too seriously. Everybody is equal. Everybody.
Yeah, I know. I saw Nick in the chat said I gotta get like badass consoles where people could request stuff in the playlist. I have no idea how to do any of that.
Play guitar now. Well, you're really tempting, boys, but...
That's not a guitar, that's a multimeter.
Yeah, yep. You guys want to hear the Beverly Hills 90210 theme? What do you want to hear?
Can you actually play it?
Yeah. You really want me to?
Oh, I just did nail the big thing of solder.
Yeah. Cancer is a bitch, man.
Yeah, guys, exhale. Exhale when you do that. Woo!
Yeah.
What a
Yeah,
dork.
be like Bill Clinton and don't inhale, all right?
There's a local Jersey band that every time they play, they're you know, they would be ridiculous if they weren't so fun. They bring a light show, even though there's a gig with like 20 people there. There's a lot of pre-programmed stuff, and they play the Power Rangers theme song every time, and it seems like it would suck, but let me tell you, it's fucking hilarious, and it makes me smile every time.
See if I can do this. It's really out of tune. Like, I'm about 4 steps out of tune on some of these strings here. So
I think your video stopped playing. Either that or did I?
I disappeared, Bob.
Oh no! I just my stream. I must have hit a button on my stream or something. Never mind. Yeah, there you are.
I disappeared, Bob.
Oh no! I just my there stream. You go. I button on my stream or something. Yeah, there you are.
I disappeared, Bob. Okay, that's it for today's lesson.
No, you said the Beverly Hills 90210 soundtrack.
I'm at it. I don't have a. I don't have a Allen key to. Oh, maybe. You know what? Hold on a second. I got an idea. Man. All right, I'll tune it up. Give me about 2 seconds here. I think I can do this.
Yeah, I think it looks alright. You serenade us and I'll plug this bitch in.
Okay, let's give it a shot. Beverly Hills, 90210. Let me get on my Eric Clapton jive here.
There you go, guys.
This Sunday on Fox, who will Dylan choose, Brenda or Kelly?
Let's see. You guys like Ozzy Osbourne? You like
Hell
Randy
yeah.
Rhoads? Here's one of my favorites. This is the Goodbye to Romance solo. Okay, it's really out of tune, and
you don't happen to know the solo to Architecture of Aggression, do you? That's one of my favorite solos of all time.
Is that the one that goes like this? Does it go like this?
Oh, that's Master of Puppets.
Is that how it goes?
That is Master of Puppets, and you know it. Alright, we're missing color.
Okay, I'm done.
We
I'm
are
done.
missing color.
I'm not going to do this anymore. The people have been entertained.
Or I have the colors backwards. Okay. You're going to want to come take a look at this.
I'm looking. I'm here. My God, what did you do?
I'm going to go with I installed it wrong.
Well, you can clearly see that you've got greens and reds swapped.
Maybe. Okay, that's fucking odd.
Looks great other than the colors being converted.
Alright, well, if that's the case then. Ooh, nope. That is not what I went to do. What the hell just happened? Sorry, guys. I think I just pressed the wrong button.
God bless it, Bob.
Here we go. Hey, there we go. We're back-ish. Alright. Did I reverse? I did. I see exactly where I did it.
I can see exactly what you did, Bob.
I thought they were, I thought, yeah, alright. I'm a dork.
It's alright.
At least all of the voltage levels are the same. So it's not like I put something that was high voltage on a line that wasn't. Well, or similar enough where I didn't just break something. I know video voltages vary, but... Still see that? Yeah. Now I'm going to have that fucking 90210 song stuck in my head for like a day and a half.
Yeah, I got to finish that guitar. It's not nearly done. I've got a bunch of stuff to do to it, so it doesn't sound very good. It doesn't play too great right now either, but...
What have you done so far?
Well, I filed, crowned, and leveled the frets. I got the intonation all dialed in. I got the pickups all almost dialed in. I've got to adjust some things on the bridge. I've got to make some adjustments to the action, and I think I'm going to do just a little more to the Floyd Rose nut, so that it's just a little more balanced. So I've got maybe 3 or 4 more hours worth of work on it before I consider it ready to go. I'm not going to do my own rendition of Bob's intro theme. Bob's done a great job with Bob's intro theme.
No, the colors are still messed up.
Bob, why are you messing up things? What do they look like now, Bob?
Oh, like I got them wrong. All right.
You did it the other way now.
No, that would have made sense to me. So let me pull all these off, and then let's just.
That's the thing. Marion, we are all musicians, and we're all. I mean, not tooting our horns, but we're all pretty good musicians. So we could definitely like collaborate and make something pretty cool. I think.
Whether he likes it or not, Renee has to do at least one solo on my second album. There's no doubt. I want the crazy Canuck on there doing his shit.
Right. Yep.
All right. So on the S-RGB chip, did I just read the fucking pinout wrong, or is pin 24 red?
Bob, you've got this. There's a great resource for this information on the web.
Yeah, I'm looking at my own site now.
I'm such an asshole. But yeah, I had to look too.
Pin 24 is blue, not red.
Right. Yeah, you got it mixed up. Listen, I still have to look at some of that stuff sometimes.
Okay. So this one right here, where the hell fucker go? That one should be blue. And that one should be green. And that one should be red. Okay. You know what? Since I already just made the mistake twice.
But you're close, Bob. You're closer than most men have ever came. Such a perv.
Alright, yeah, so it is reversed on the thing. So I got that part right at least. Yeah, I'm melting the hoods of these. So if I, for whatever reason, decide to keep this on here, I'm definitely going to redo that. But nothing's touching, so.
Just put it on eBay. That's how you get rid of that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. Isn't that how you do it? If you don't do something right, you just dump it on eBay and let somebody else deal with it.
That's right. That's the way we do it. That's the way we do things downtown.
According to Nick, you don't do anything downtown. It's all him.
Oh, fuck him. He doesn't know anything.
All right. So I didn't screw the colors up this time. Hey,
there you go, man.
The water's blue.
Looks great.
All right, screenshot time.
I don't know, but I'll say this. Just looking at the capture in the video, maybe it's just my eyes, but this looks sharper. It might be the attenuation. It's probably the attenuation doing that too, a great deal.
Coming your way.
Now, do you want me to add this to the 3-picture comparison I made?
Well, there's two things we could do here, and we'll both mess with it. One would be to compare it to the original, and then also compare it to that one chip I have that's already attenuated to see if that's all that we're looking at. We should be able to see more than that, though.
Okay.
Right.
So, do you want to compare this to the stock 1-chip 02 picture?
Yep, and I'm doing the same myself, actually.
Okay, because I've got the comparisons already made if you want me just to send them over to you.
Actually, you do it then if you haven't already made. That's perfect.
Yeah, I've already have it made, Bob. I'm quick as a whip. All right, here you go. I'm uploading to what do you call this thing?
Imgur.
Yeah, Imgur. So I want to grab it right there. Damn it, I didn't change it to frickin'... Okay, no problem. All right. I messed that up. Let me just resize this real quick, Bobby.
Yep.
I'm not the man I used to be.
I think the only difference I see is attenuation.
There we go. Okay, so here she comes. Okay.
Oh, there I am. You didn't tell me this whole time I was like blanked out in the chat.
I didn't see you blanked out in chat. What are you talking about?
The YouTube window now hasn't updated yet.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the winners of the 2017 Lord Voultar Awards. The winner is George Soros. Okay. Okay, enough fun. Here you go. Just share that in chat.
I'm mostly seeing the attenuation is the difference.
Yep.
All right.
That would appear to be accurate. And my God, what a difference.
Reloading. God, I wish this was beer. All
Did
right.
you just crack open a beer?
No, a Pepsi. I wish it was beer.
That's funny.
So to remove these wires, Zach, I just pull really hard, right?
Yeah, just pull
Just
really
yank.
hard, and yeah, what you might want to do is take your needle nose pliers and just wrap it around.
Right. And then afterwards, the proper procedure is to email you and tell you that your piece of crap board broke when I was installing it.
That's right. That it came with all the vias and everything lifted off, and you want a refund. But since I give that board away for free to people now, I don't think they can do that as much.
I actually got a bunch of those over the years from very nice people that were 100% honest with what they did. So I actually just showed them how to solder directly to the board then and skip the pads and everything. But yeah, I had that email from nice people, so I always tried to help.
Right.
Okay. So, what I think I'm going to do is add a little bit of solder to the red, green, and blue pins on the S-RGB, and then heat and lift. Correct?
Sure. Don't you have your rework station there, though?
I do.
Remember, it was really easy.
I was really bad at it.
Okay, then don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, just if you can heat them all simultaneously, that's the easiest way to go.
Heat. And they're not one next to each other. That you have to skip. So blue, skip one, green, skip one, red.
That is correct.
Did everybody see this? Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, it's it's legible.
Okay, one down. Third. Okay, now I have to look with a magnifying glass because I actually have perfect eyesight, but this is just a little too close for comfort. Oh yeah, all are good. Oh, look at me, almost like a real modder, sort of. Not quite yet, but sort of.
You are a real modder, Bob. You're the real deal. Why do you say that?
I'm really not. I'm just good enough, and I think the only reason that I do these mods well is because I know that. I don't walk into this thinking I'm a master modder or anything.
Well, you're good enough is better than most of the stuff that I see for sale, so you don't give yourself enough credit, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So I have lifted these 3 pins, and I am going to very, very gently raise them. Okay. So, here's another thing I would need your help for.
Mhm.
Since these 3 pins are lifted and the multi-out is here, do I run the wires like this? I know it's going to be a moment to catch up to the stream, so I'll just hold it there. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Let me. So when we put this board back in, there is nothing. There is no lip that it's going to get pinched on. So they would just have to go from this around the side and over here. So that's good news.
I might be looking at it wrong because I'm seeing it consoles upside down, but you want to make sure that whatever direction your wires are going is. Yeah, you got it. That's it.
Now it's going over this
You
this
got to
cap.
watch out for the heat sink.
Yeah. So I mean, where is that? Yeah, I would go around between the heatsink and the cartridge port. And now, is there something you suggest I do to hold the wires in place so they don't tug on the 3 wires on the S-RGB port or chip?
You just solder it, put a little tension on it, and that's the end of it. There's nothing else really you need to do.
Okay. I was wondering if this would be one of those cases where you add a tiny bit of glue on the chip, not on the pins, but on the chip to hold the thing in place.
You can if you really want to, but if your solder is good, thoroughly wetted and strong, totally unnecessary, in my opinion.
Yeah, but my only fear is I don't want it to pull on those 3 pins that I just lifted.
So what you can do then is you can come out maybe about where the filter cap is unpopulated, put a dab of hot glue in that area, about an inch above that right there, and
Oh, right here, like kind of where it says SNS1 chip.
yeah, exactly, yeah, and you can make a tack right there.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do that for the test, but if I end up keeping this mod, I will do that just because any kind of strain relief I think is a good thing.
Right. Yeah.
How's my trick of always just exhaling while you do this? Is that really bad for you?
Yeah, I do that. When I solder, I always make a point to breathe out.
Today was the first time I got caught in a long time where I just inhaled a big waft of it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I saw Jason from Game Tech on one of his videos drop like a solder ball or something, and just a huge cloud came up right in his face. I was like, "Oh my god, dude! Don't get cancer! Holy shit!"
Hey guys, Jason's immortal.
No.
Jason's like one of those Viking dudes. You can't stop him.
I'd believe it. I need some more solder. That is good. That is in business. Okay. So I was thinking maybe. So if it's blue, is this one? Red, green, blue. So I should keep it like this or wrap it twice. So yeah, probably that. What do you think of that?
I think that's just fine, Bob. If that's what you want to do in life, you can do it.
Yeah, I just want to. I'll wait for the stream. There we go. Stream's catching up. So that should be good, right? I'm not. It's far enough away from the power lines.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Just as long as it doesn't impede on the casings coming together and closing over it, there's no problem with that, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me just triple check that. Surprisingly not. Surprisingly, if I put it like that, it should be fine. So, and that little power, the little power thingy right there, where am I here? That's not going to affect anything at all, right?
No, it's fine.
All right.
Bob, this is looking so good. So proud of you.
Well, if nothing else, I've been paying attention and learning from you guys. Flux. Okay. Okay. Connections look nice and snug.
Good work. Good work.
I'm just gonna put one screw into the 7805 just because I don't want anything flopping around. It should be. All right, here we go. Okay.
You got it, man.
Image as. There you go.
Oh, shit.
What are you shooting?
Oh, nothing. I'm just about out of juice. I have to go to the stores. If Steve was on here, Steve does have a lead-free that he likes to use. I don't know if he likes to use it, but he likes to use it because he has to use lead-free, and it performs fairly well. If he was on here, I would have him tell you guys what it is. I've used both extensively over the years. A terrible melting point threshold, subpar wicking ability. Lead-free to me, while it might be okay, it pales in comparison to leaded solder.
I just sent you that one. I'm not sure if you saw.
I didn't see it, Bob. Okay. Got it. And it's identical.
Yeah, yes it is.
Did we even care to show this? It's
yes,
exactly
we do.
the same.
There was somebody on the forums a few years ago who I'm not going to name that was extremely mean to me and told me that I should be ashamed of myself for ripping people off because you absolutely don't get any difference in quality when you use a 7.3, or at the time at least 7.3.14 on a one chip. And that I was a total piece of shit for even insinuating that you could. And here's proof. So I'll do. I will do the Mario World test real quick. So I already have it plugged in, and then I would like to take the board out of the one chip O2 and put it into this one, and go from there. Just so we could see the difference.
Who told you? I want to know who told you that.
I don't want to start drama. I'm not a drama guy. If you see me at a bar, I'll start drama. I'm not starting internet drama.
Okay. Let me just ask this. This doesn't reveal anything. Is it the one guy who we thought was the other guy, but might or might not be the other guy?
I actually don't. No. No, that's awesome. No. The fact that I know that I know who you're talking about is amazing.
I know who you're talking about. Hey, man, listen, just a quick point on that. I gave somebody a very popular modder who is whatever, made a YouTube video with a one chip that had an S-RGB expansion, and it had hot glue all over it on the encoder, and he said that he couldn't repair that because there was too much hot glue. And then he said that you should use a 7374 anyways, because that's the only way to properly drive video to CRTs, because a lot of monitors won't like the video being driven off of the stock RGB encoder. And I gave him some serious hell for that because he was trying to sell his own board. So totally innocent. That guy, he's a cunt for doing that.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've always had my screenshots as proof, but now doing it with you like this, it's irrefutable. There's no fucking way anybody could say that we're everybody witnessed the process. That's why I love the live stream shit in this. So,
right.
So what I think I should do is remove the 3 wires that I added to the sRGB, remove the mod altogether, and then add the 7374 board to this one. And this is a perfect candidate because the pins are lifted anyway. So
here's the link for the. I'm sending you the link for the.
Thank you.
It's just taken 20 years to upload for some reason. But yeah, I've said this from the very beginning. I don't want there to be any confusion. I even said it in a recent video that other than the possibility of getting vertical bars and certain effects like that, there's nothing wrong with the encoder whatsoever. So, I think, in my opinion, now that since we've seen this, well, you know what? I'm gonna wait till we're done before I mouth off my stupid fucking opinion. Coming into the chat now, guys. This is the one I just did with the pins lifted. All right, so I'm gonna remove this. The best way to yeah, let me just start with this because this is fucking easy. I just hit these 3 pins with a soldering gun.
Skybox's Blank asks, Voultar, do you know how to fix the vertical bars? I've tried everything, including bypassing, and they just won't go away.
On what model?
Yeah, some information there is important. The model and revision of your system, and what exactly did you use? I'm always interested in hearing about this problem because I think we need more information on it still today.
Yeah. So I'm leaving the pins up because it's if we're doing the 7374 board, there's no reason to have RGB. This does not disable composite video, but I just want to make sure that even though they're definitely not touching, that the pins are very separated from each other, so I don't have any chance of coupling at all. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of this. I'm proud as fuck. That looked good.
You should be proud of yourself, Bob. You're a good man.
Yeah, bitches. All right. So that's
Yeah, bitches.
that's all good. Let me. Oof. You know what I just realized, Zach?
What's that, son?
I don't have a second one of your one chip 7374 boards.
Well, somebody's done fucked up.
Well, no, I'm gonna take it off the other one for this. But yeah, I did fuck up. All right.
Sega. Any news about the Genesis RGB bypass board? If you're talking about the Sega Mega Video, I'm still working out some stuff with a few things. That's still certainly happening. As for Renee's RGB board, if you're referring to that, I don't know, but it looks very good. Maybe Bob has an update.
I think Renee said the parts were en route, and he'll soon try the next prototype, which could very well be the final, because we already went through one revision. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I strongly feel like it's going to end up being the exact same scenario as the 7374 bypass and the S-RGB expansion board, and that neither solution, like each solution would have a better use, but they're both good. Like Genesis 3s, definitely use Renee's because it's got the audio board in it as well. Alright, so my little pew-pew laser gun here, desoldering. I'm assuming that's the best bet for removing this S-RGB expansion board, right?
Yeah.
Let it get hot, dump some flux on it, go from there, right?
Yep.
Alright, we are winding down to the end, guys. Thanks for sticking with us for a long one.
Guys, this has been fun. I have a great time on these. I like to do these. I'm starting to think about doing a... no, I have Dreamcast shit to do. Maybe I might start doing some stuff like this live. I don't know if I'm going to. I don't think you guys would care to see that as much as
I think everybody would, and let me know. I'd love to be your Paul Schaefer. Didn't sit there and work the chat while you do this stuff.
Will you shave your head and make weird facial expressions wearing sunglasses behind a keyboard?
I will most definitely not do that.
Well, Bob, you got to do something.
I'll drink beer and mouth off. How's that?
Well, you've got me sold. I don't drink beer. Do you like the taste of beer, Bob? I had to ask.
No, I love the taste of beer. And it's weird because when I was a kid, all I used to drink was Jägermeister. And then as soon as I got to the bars and realized you can't just sit there and drink a bottle of Jägermeister, and if you have one shot, and now you're just standing there like a dick, empty-handed, when all your friends are enjoying themselves. So then I kind of forced myself. And then my friend Allison said, "Hey, you want to do a car bomb?" And I was like, "What's that?" And she showed me, and I beat her the first time, and no one's beat me since. And ever since I've liked Guinness. So that's how I got into Guinness, by doing car bombs. My blender's back.
God.
That's not really working too well.
Bob,
I tin the tip?
You've got to apply heat for at least 7 to 10 seconds. Especially for the ground. When Ben ordered those, did he order 0.8 mil thickness? Don't tell me he got 1.6.
No, you get the correct thickness.
He better have.
So let me teach you something about through-hole desoldering, okay? Put it
Yes.
on there.
Okay.
Put it on there. And what I want you to do is I want you to swivel it. I want you to swivel it. If you can feel the solder not being hard and if it's in a molten state, you know that it's ready to be, you know it's ready to rock. It's got good suction. I can hear you sucking from here. Don't lift off. Press the apply. You're
Yeah,
going way too fast, Bob. You're going way too fast.
I've heard that before.
No, don't do nothing, Bob. Just hold it. Don't do anything until
Okay.
wait 3 seconds. 3 seconds, and then do. God damn it, Bob. I'm coming over, Bob. I have a whole video dedicated to this, Bob. How dare you dismiss it? This makes such a good noise.
It does. It does. Okay. Let me try this.
There's such a delay in the video. I can't really explain to you how to do it, but you're.
Do I
Hold on,
just add a bunch more solder? Brand new solder, you think?
Add brand new solder so it'll create a nice heat bridge. Apply the nozzle for at least 6 seconds to 6 to 10 seconds on each joint. Start swiveling when you feel the nozzle freely swivel and the solder being molten around it. That's when you're ready to pull that trigger. Jesus, Bob.
All right. Added solder to that one. One, two, three, four.
You're going to have to do. That ground plane is
Well,
going to heat
hell,
soak.
look at that. It worked.
Yeah, look at that. Isn't I what I would call a phenomena. But when you get to the ground pins, the ground's going to heat soak a lot of that, so you may have to hold it a bit longer.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to make a better video on desoldering. You're fucking up. You're fucking it up.
Hey, two for two. 2 for 2.
There you go. It's like people are like, you can't remove a PPU and CPU from an NES in one pass. Yes, you can, and if you can't do that, you're doing it wrong. I've got a video on that.
Yeah, I've seen some of Jason's videos and when he does that, and he does it so fucking quick. It's awesome. I think you did it on yours too, but I can't remember if you did like on your S-RGB one. Did you show like a quick desolder?
Well, that kit was a repair, so I didn't have to desolder anything. But on the high-def Famicom, I desoldered the PPU and CPU in real time in one pass to show that with one pass you can, with fingers, just lift the chip out.
That's right.
Just lift it out.
You see, guys, it's that easy.
It's that simple,
It's
and
that
it's
simple.
that fast.
Fuck, God damn it! I screwed it up the other day too. Okay, so this is mostly out. Well, I dropped my shit. I dropped a little cleaner. Oh, here it is. Here it is.
The 474 is a great clone of the Heiko 474. It's a great performer. The only thing I recommend is that you use real Heiko ceramic filters. And it's just as good in my opinion. Excellent, excellent.
So it's not moving. So it's it's almost out. I can't tell which one's still stuck in it.
It's the grounds. It's the grounds. It's 3 pins over.
Okay.
It's always the grounds. What you can do is, if you had your high-end rework station, that's like 2-second job, but
I do have it. I have to move the camera temporarily. Yeah, it's so loose that 2 seconds on the rework station is all it took. I should have got that on camera just to demonstrate. I have to do this again on the other SNES, so I guess I will be able to. But yeah, all right, I'm back to this.
Oh, Bob, A.W. Zimmer wants me to ask you directly, how is your back?
As long as I don't sit down, I'm okay. But it got weird the other day. It kind of scared me. In fact, Ben from iFix Retro was actually here when it happened. And I was in the middle of the sentence and I stopped. He's like, "You're right." I'm like, "Hey, I'm not kidding. If I like fall over, please call 911. I'm not drunk." He's like, "Oh, okay." But it didn't get much worse, so I think I was fine.
Was that from pain, or like did you lose some nerve feeling or something? Or
No, what the doctor told me was, pretty much no matter what happens, I'm fine and I'll heal eventually, as long as I don't lose strength in my foot. Numbness, fine, whatever, but as long as I don't lose strength, I'm good. And as we're working here, I go up the stairs, and all of a sudden my right foot wouldn't really push going up the stairs. It was probably just excursion because you know, when you have a slip disc, you're still not supposed to do all the shit that I've been doing, but fuck it. I'm indestructible.
yeah, you are. You're gonna live forever.
With Jason.
Hey, you fuckers are gonna be watching the asteroids fall and the Earth consume the Earth while I'm in the ground.
Thank you for your concern, though, but I'm still kicking. I'll be around until I can't do it anymore, or until I get a job that sends me away.
Per Bob's own words, he's better. He's perfect horizontally and vertically.
That is true. All right, fresh solder. See if I can do this one faster. Let's see if I can do this Voultar style.
Now, when you're putting the nozzle over, you want just the weight of the tool to fall on the joints.
Right.
And it may actually help you if you hold the board
Vertical.
Oh, yeah?
I think you need to get out your rework station, because I think what you're going to do is you're going to end up destroying that chip.
Okay. I'll see if. Well, first let me unplug this desoldering thing so I don't burn my hand on it.
I love that knockoff Heiko desoldering gun, by the way.
Yeah, that was a great buy. I think Firebrand X might be getting the same one too.
Yep. For $99, you can't beat it. Period.
All right, so let me see if I can do this on camera again this time without getting in the way. All right. Okay.
Bob, how much do you bench press?
To be honest, I was never really great on a bench. I was really much better in like real life stuff. So I think my benching was always pretty weak, to be honest, like under 200 pounds. But I've had like bodybuilder friends. Like we picked up a shed and moved it to the other side of a fucking backyard one time. Ooh, ooh.
How good your clean and jerk? Yep. Just apply heat, even distribution. Keep it at an angle like that. Just continue. The potential gets the board to pull it up. See, it's coming. There you go. That easy. Mind the components.
Wow, that was real clean. That came right off. Okay. Well, one of the caps moved over, but I think I could just resolder that. Okay. So So funny, we didn't have the TTL jumper jumped on this one.
Right, because your cable does that. Oh, wait. So, yeah, you're attenuating in both places, I guess. What does that come out to? Hold on a second. Let me do a quick calculation. Let's see. So that's... What cable were you using, Bob?
I was using one of the ones from Retro Access, which definitely has the correct resistor in it because I opened it up to test myself.
When you say correct resistor, do you know what's in there?
330?
Okay.
330 or 4? Yeah, 330. I think I broke the cap that's on this. I could pull one off of the other boards though, right? It's just the 1 UF 1 microfarad decoupling cap, I believe.
You know, you can test. You can keep that off of there, and it'll work fine for this in this instance. If you're just testing it, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'd like to be thorough. What could I say?
If it's the cap, that cap just mitigates trace inductance between the chip and the routes. So yeah, I'm getting here. She's got a 330 ohm resistor. If you keep it should work either way. We talked about this before. It should work either way. But if she's got a 330 ohm resistor in her cable, and you have the attenuation on my board, the net amplitude on the output is 450 millivolts, or 450 millivolts. So
it's actually not terrible.
That's perfect.
Okay. Man, these SMD components are tiny.
Yeah, Bob, they are tiny.
Okay.
Samicom. Both Bob and I bought. I bought a couple of them, but Bob and I both bought Heiko FP102s for $30 a piece.
Yeah, except mine still doesn't work.
Well, no, Bob's works, but his handpieces. He bought generic Chinese handpieces, and his station's fine, but his handpieces were generic. So I've got that fixed for him. I gotta send those.
Oh, you already fixed them?
Yeah, I fixed them. I fixed them. One of them was fucked, but the other one's was fixable. I fixed it.
You the man, Zach. And all of these SMD components are non-directional, right?
That's right. Nothing is polarized there, except for that tantalum cap, but you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, because that's on this one, that would be for S-Video, which we're not messing with.
Right. Hold on, I gotta check this thing on my mail real quick.
Okay. This bitch goes right over. Getting close to the end. So when you add these boards on onto yours, do you solder every pin, even though things like audio aren't connected?
It depends on the mood I'm in. You absolutely don't have to, but if you go ahead and sweep them anyways, it has no effect. Those don't terminate or won't bounce off of anything. So you can do that.
I've been doing it just because I just figure it's one more way to make the connection solid so the board doesn't move at all. But I don't think that board's moving even if you only attach the bare minimum.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, you're safe. You're a safe man.
Let me just add a little more flux and clean that up. So that should be pretty much done. You know, I know the connection's fine, but if it doesn't make that same like mushroomy look to it, I always add more solder just to be thorough.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so that is fucking solid in there. So the best way, I guess, to reinsert these wires, the red, green, and blue from the board over. The best way to do that would probably be to solder each one individually, right? Because there's already solder inside the vias, so it's not like I could stick them through the holes again.
Right, and for testing, I mean, just as long as you secure that it doesn't, it's fine. Totally okay.
I've actually had installs where I had issues getting, the vias were being pains in the asses to make it shortest. And it almost was like I was soldering to the tops of the vias. The wires didn't go through the holes, but the connection was absolutely across the metal. Anything wrong with that?
Nope, not really. And there's a clean way to do that. There's a not so clean way to do that. If you do it clean, works just as well.
Well, when I did it, unless you look super, super close, you couldn't even tell. Which makes me think that my connection was strong across all three.
Right. That's right.
All right, so. Alright, I'm going to align blue with blue because why the fuck not? Let's see this here. Yep. Oh, forgot to put flux on it. Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
In about 20 minutes, man, I've got to split.
We should be done in like 5.
Okay, I'm just telling you, man. Is that 5 minutes my time, or is that 5 minutes Bob time?
I don't know what Bob time is. I'm usually pretty punctual.
I didn't say anything.
Green, blue. I'll make these nice and tight. I forgot to add the C-Sync wire, so that one's just going to be separate.
So good to see you using this ribbon wire. Does my heart good, Bob, to see you doing it like a champion would.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It did take me a little while for you to convince me this was the best method, but it is. You're right. Oh, that's right. I gotta remove. Forgot I gotta remove the sync from this. Then. Oh, yeah, dork. Fucking solder braid gets hot when you hold it.
Oh, man. I can't tell you how many times I've done that, Bob. Don't feel too bad.
C-Sync connected. Just going to connect up these, and that's it. We should see. So my guess is this. My guess is that as long as you use the 7374, that all of these things, and I have screen caps of the SNES too, so we can show those immediately. I mean the mini, but I think that everything that's a one chip, so 1, 2, 3, and mini, will look identical, as long as you're using the 7374. And the mini, I like. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with the look of the mini with the S-RGB expansion board. So for my testing from now on, I'm going to keep a one chip with the 7374 and the mini with the S-RGB expansion.
That sounds like a winner, Bob. It sounds like a wiener.
Oh, those are too long.
I think I'll do a resistor ladder. I think I'll do an R2R ladder.
On what?
I can use resistor packs. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, nothing. I'm talking to myself, Bob. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get some work done too. I'm with you in spirit. I just trying to.
It's okay. You've been here a while. I appreciate the support, and I'm soldering the last 3 bits, and then we can see the final bullshit soon.
I want to see it. I'm excited for this.
All right. Doesn't look as pretty as when I had all 4 wires connected, but you know what? It still looks pretty good. So
Still looks pretty good to me.
and there's certainly no like the works came together well. So it's not like I had shoddy work in there or anything. So all right. All right. Is your body ready?
My body has been ready for you. Is it not working?
It is. There was just sometimes I have it running through a splitter, an HDMI splitter, so there's no bullshit like signal loss, but you do get a delay of it syncing back up.
It looks pretty goddamn good. If I do say so myself.
There you go.
Alrighty, I'll put that in the comparison. I'll do a. Oh, did you send it over the pick over?
I did. I just sent it to you.
There it is.
Yep.
Got it. Got it, my man. Yep.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I'm opening here.
Okay, guys. Blind taste test here.
Interesting.
All right, I'm going to send this. I'm uploading now. I'm sending this over to your body. Here you go. Well, there we are. Hold on a second. Let me get that there. Uploading, uploading, uploading. And the link's off to you. You can put this in the chat and people can see what they think.
Okay. I'm making one very quick as well. So stay tuned, guys. I'm not. Okay. I just need 1 minute. Not even. Wow, this is really interesting. It's still infinitely. I mean, all of these are still infinitely better than a 2-chip. That's for goddamn sure.
Oh, yeah, no question. What do you have your filter set to, Bob, on your OSSC?
9 megahertz.
Okay.
This is the most boring part of the stream, but I promise this is where the payoff is. This is getting these captures ready for real time for you right here. Is that your dog barking in the background?
Yeah, that's doggy style. I'm gonna go out there and get him. Bob,
yes.
what the hell are you doing?
You'll see. Yeah, I'm literally just saving now. Okay, so I have everything here. The only thing I was not able to find was a 2-chip capture, which I don't really think. I think we all know. We all or know what to expect from that shit. Save as bitmap. All right, Zach, you get this right now. I am uploading it as we speak.
All right, I've got it in my body. I'm going to convert this to BMP. Do you want me to resize this, Bob?
No, I got it. I got it.
Oh, you got it. This is the way you want it in this size?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. That's uploading right now. Okay. Here you go. Here's the direct link. Share this in the chat. Let people take a look.
How do I do it? Wondering how I do an exact 2x. You know, let me swap these out, and then we'll discuss exactly what it is we're looking at here. Okay. So up on the top of the screen, we have a bunch of different links. Now, I suggest that if you that you click on that link down below, just to actually make sure that that we're looking at the same thing. I'll post again here just in case. So this link right here, this link. I didn't mean to make a pun. I gotta wait. I guess I gotta wait for the chat or for the main screen to catch up.
They can see it.
Oh no, here it is now. It wasn't showing on mine. Okay. So on the very, very left is a SNES Mini with the the 7374 board. Just to the right of that is the 1-chip 01, and then to the right of that is the 1-chip 02, all with that same 7374 board. Then next to it is the S-RGB Expansion board with the pins lifted, so it's like the best you can get out of that. And all the way to the right is the stock 1-chip, and you could definitely tell just by looking at his hat and stuff how it's brighter. So bypassing a one chip to itself does not make it look like a mini. It doesn't really do much other than attenuate the brightness. So yeah, Merling T1. If right looks the best to you, your monitor is not calibrated. I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything. That is the exact thing when you're looking at these. If you zoom in, you absolutely lose detail.
Bob, I don't remember the order or what's what, but and I don't know what the hell you just said. I can't keep up with 7 different friggin' links. But the one in the middle to me looks the best, and the one on the far left looks, in my opinion, really good too.
So, the one in the middle is the one chip O2 that we did first.
Is it stock?
No, that is the 7374.
Okay, so the middle is 7374 with the one chip O2 fat.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm wondering, I'm definitely wondering what it is about these two boards that makes them different. The one chip O1 versus the O2.
So the one on the far left, it was a one chip O1 with the 7374?
The one on the absolute leftmost is a SNES Mini with the 7374.
Okay, because to me they look, other than a slight, maybe subtle attenuation difference, they look almost identical to me in terms of their sharpness. The only difference I see between those two, and that's, guys, that's to be expected. There's a wide variance here on the output, so we can only do our best to average them, but which the difference is very, very, you would never see this unless you had direct comparisons.
Yeah.
But as far as sharpness goes, the one on the right, the one on the far right, it doesn't look bad, but it does look like ass. And the second farthest to the right, what's the one second farthest to the right?
That is the S-RGB Expansion board, so that is bypassed to itself.
Okay. That looks not as good.
It does not look as good as the 7374s.
It has there's a lot of soft haloing. It looks like a ringing effect.
Yeah. So there's something going on with the encoders on these boards then, or on the boards themselves that are affecting the video quality. But it's not the video chip itself. It's not the SCPUN, because if it was, they would all look different even with the 7374 amp. So there's something on the SNES board coming right off the S-RGB chip, or maybe it's between the SCPUN and the S-RGB that's the issue. But
I'm sorry, one more question. Did you include in your comparison? Did you include the link that has it's the stock system, but it's just attenuated? That's very important. That would have been very important to see, to compare the stock system with that's just attenuated with a bypass board that also has attenuation.
I have all those, and when I get home tonight or before I leave today, depending how late I stay here, I will make sure that this entire thing it's already saved on my hard drive. It's saved online. I'm going to make sure that this is all up there with the raw bitmaps available for download, so people can mix and match and make their own shots, so everybody can see for themselves. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. So this is I mean, the theory stays true in that if you want, if you want the best out of your one chip, use the 7374, and either is fine for the sRGB. But I'm going to have pics of all of those up there. So,
well, just to clarify, because I think a lot of people, for whatever reason, they confuse this or they interpret this differently. There's not a goddamn thing wrong with any of these pictures, other than maybe the stock one on the far right.
Right. So it's only if you're being super anal like me.
Right, and me too. But if you do want that certainly that extra bump in sharpness, the real bypass, definitely, there's a definite difference there.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I know you said you have to go, so thank you so much for your help and being on here. I'll make sure to repost and tag you in this because I forgot to do that last time. I'm going to hang on a few more minutes and see if I can answer anybody's questions about this stuff, and then I got to take off as well.
Do you want me to stick around for just a couple minutes?
No, you got places to go, and you've been more than enough help. So thank you so much.
All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed it, but I have to go. Get my porno tapes out of storage. So everybody, have a good time. We'll catch you later.
Take care, guys. Or take care, man.
Peace.
So if anybody has any questions, there is a bit of a delay, I guess, but post up and I'll see, I'll see what I could do. Also, a bunch of these SNESs are going to be up for sale soon. So if anybody wants first dibs, definitely let me know, because I'd rather go it to people, or rather have it go to people that that actually understand what this is. So. I know that might sound a little arrogant. I really don't mean it that way. I just, a couple people bought a bunch of stuff from me in the past few weeks that absolutely understood what it was they were buying and love it. And that makes me happy just because I'm a nerd. Mazada, I think that they have moved over to a 7374 based solution, but I can't be sure. They used to used to use a 7314 solution, and as we proved out, almost a year ago now, if there's no other filter in the chain, so like if you're going directly into an open source scan converter with the filter off, then it's absolutely it's the same quality. The only time the 7314 looks worse is if there's multiple filters in the chain, like in the case of the G-SCART switch, or if you turn on the filter in the OSSC. I have personally done a filter test with these things. I spent hours just trying to freaking deal with this, but the filter in the OSSC is better than the filter built into these chips. So I strongly recommend that you use the chips with no filter at all, and just go from there. Sure, the best composite cable for my NES. If you literally mean composite video, then it doesn't really matter. Grab any composite video cable at all. You're not going to notice a difference. Yeah, Ash, that's why all TVs in Best Buy are usually found on like Vivid mode or something. And that's same with audio. Yeah, that's actually why Metallica's one of their albums that came out, their 2 albums ago or something. Uh, People were complaining that it wasn't that great because it actually people they wanted it louder so it stood out more. Generally, if you're asking that question and you're on this, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, man. We just spent 3 hours just going over that question. So yeah, sorry, dude. If anybody wants any of these too, I got a complete in box one chip that's pretty decent. It's the box could use some cleaning, to be honest with you, but yeah, I mean it's pretty good shape. It comes with it has all got all the hookups and stuff like that. So and obviously it comes with original controllers, OEM power supplies, and all that stuff. Email. Oh no, Ash. I know you're not. I know you're not criticizing. I'm just agreeing with you, actually. But yeah, if anybody's interested, email me directly. But serious inquiries only, please. Last time I asked that, a few people were like, "Yeah, I'll give you $100 for it." I paid $100 for just the SNES. But you guys just saw how long I took to get these mods perfect in here. So I have a few stock ones. I have a few ones that are with the brightness already attenuated. I have a mini with the switches in the back, which, yes, they're hot glued in, but it's actually the perfect use of hot glue because it's meant to be removable. So you could actually toggle between a low pass filter and TTL and 75 ohm sync. So once again, that's only good for people that actually need these things. If you have a normal setup, just use regular. You don't need any of those switches. But for people that go back and forth, like directly into a capture card and then through a setup, having the toggles are pretty cool. Cyboxes, blank, yeah, I mean, huge difference when you're using it versus not using it. If you have, for example, the G-SCART switch and the open source scan converter, both with their filters on, and you have one of these with a filter on, and actually it looks blurry. So that's why it's not like the filter blurs anything, but when you stack filters on top of each other, that is the issue. Let me know if there's anything else. It's just Bob at RetroRGB.com. One thing that I did notice that was pretty interesting is that if you run direct TTL sync through the SNES into a flat screen or something, you actually will see jail bars. So that's pretty interesting. I didn't realize that could happen. Um, and yeah, for the record, Cyboxes, I'm talking only about the one chips. I think that's something that people misunderstand all the time when I talk about these things. If you have a two chip, good luck trying to make it look good. It's going to have the weirdest things, strange video issues, coupling, checkerboarding. You're not going to get a good signal out of it. Yeah, Adam. I mean, no low pass filter on both is, yeah, you're going to get aliasing, but no low pass filter on the SNES and the low pass filter on the OSSC is actually better than if you use like the 7374's filter or something. Cyboxes, if you're getting jail bars on your modded Mini, you don't have a filter in the chain. So you must be going directly into FrameMeister or something like that. Unmaker, yeah. As we proved today, I have a one chip 03 that I had tested this on before. This was a one chip 1 and a one chip 02. All of them are going to look pretty much as flawless as it gets with one of these 7374 boards. And the only differences are going to be when zoomed in 20 times and depending on other factors in the board, maybe old caps, tolerances on the resistors they used, stuff like that. If you're using a 7314 with CRT going through a cross point and you're getting some kind of noise, then it's not the filter. It's something else in the chain. Kyosho LP, thank you for asking. I go back to the doctor on Thursday to figure out what it is, but the back is, as long as I'm vertical or horizontal, everything's cool. But something's changed because it hurts different when I sit now. So hopefully that means I'm healing and not pinching something else. But thank you for asking. I'm trying to hang in there. Well, it's almost 5 o'clock, and I got to try to fight the subway traffic back. But thanks so much for everybody that's watching. I mean, I really, I love that I get to do this. I feel very, very lucky that I get to hang out with you guys and work on this shit and get you guys involved in this. So, I mean, thanks so much for everything. And anybody that's interested, I have like 4 different one chips for sale with varying mods in them. One is complete in box. And a bunch of other, a bunch of other random stuff up for sale. I'm not sure what would be pertaining to anybody that's finished, but I do have my eBay store, which I've just been putting my extras up on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, all right. Well, thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you guys next time.